Hello and good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to learn about another symbol of American history, the White House. And I know a lot of you have heard about the White House before, but we're going to learn some very cool facts today. The White House is a national landmark, which means that it cannot be touched. It is very important to American history. The White House is where the President of the United States and his family live. The White House is located on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Northwest in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is our capital. D.C. stands for District of Columbia. Washington, D.C. is not a state. It's a district. It's between the two states of Maryland and Virginia. Miss Sorrentino's actually been there before, and it's very cool. Our first president, George Washington, selected the site for the White House in 1791. So this was a long time ago. However, the White House wasn't finished until 1800 when our second president, John Adams, moved in. And even when he moved in 1800, it wasn't completely done. The White House wasn't always called the White House because it was huge. It was this huge mansion. So it was called the Executive Mansion because the president is part of the executive branch of the United States, or the President's Palace to make it sound fancy. The outside of the White House has always been white due to the paint and the coating it was used. So, in 1901, our president, Theodore Roosevelt, decided to officially change the name and call it the White House. There are 132 rooms in the White House and three main parts. There's the West Wing, the residence where the president lives, and there's 6 floors of that, and the East Wing. There are also many bathrooms and fireplaces in the White House. So it's a really big place. But it's not just used for living. It's also used for meetings, for gatherings. There's lots of gardens that grow their own food. The White House hasn't always had a perfect history, though. It went on fire 2 different times. One during the War of 1812, and the second time was in 1929 during the presidency of Herbert Hoover. But in 1929, it was only the West Wing that went on fire, so only this part. Both times, the White House was fixed and ready to be lived in again. Now, I want to tell you about some rooms in the White House that I think you guys might find really, really cool. The White House has its own movie theater inside of it. It sits 42 different people, and it plays all the new movies. In 1947, President Harry Truman built a bowling alley inside the White House because he loved to bowl. The White House also has an indoor swimming pool and a game room with a pool table, a foosball table, and a bunch of other things to play. Now, these are some of the cool rooms. I'm going to tell you right now in some of the important rooms. Some of the famous rooms in the White House include the Oval Office. The Oval Office is where the president and his top officials work. That's the president's desk right there. And right there in the middle floor is the seal. We'll learn about that next week. Then, a bunch of rooms in the White House, there's 3 of them, are based off the color that's all around. So this is the blue room. The blue room serves as a reception area. So a reception area is basically a fancy area that you only go when, guests come over. The blue room is special because that's where they put the White House's Christmas tree. Then we have the red room. The red room got its name, again, because of the wall, the fabric that we use on the chairs, the tapestries and paintings. And the red room is a sitting room for first ladies, which means that first ladies are the wives of the presidents. And they sit there and they relax. And it's also now used for small dinner parties. So there's the blue room, the red room, and there's also a green room, which we don't have here. But those are the 3 parlor rooms of the White House. These 3 parlor rooms you can visit when you go see the White House. Miss Sorrentino's actually gone to the White House and have seen those 3 rooms. This is the East Room. The East Room is a reception area. It's in the part of the White House where the president lives. It's the largest room in the mansion, and it's used for dances, receptions, which are like dinner parties, press conferences when the president talks to everybody, ceremonies, concerts, and banquets. So it's a very special room of the White House. All right, you want to hear some more cooler rooms that I think you would really enjoy? Some other really cool rooms include a chocolate shop. Now, the White House has an amazing kitchen. It also has chefs in there every day cooking for them. Along with the chefs come a pastry chef who makes desserts for special events and functions. In the chocolate shop, the chef prepares the eggs for the annual Easter egg roll. It makes a replica or a copy of the White House in gingerbread for Christmas time. They also have a flower shop in the White House. It's right down a couple doors away from the chocolate shop and the bowling alley. See, the White House has so many gardens that florists are able to buy flowers and make them for all functions in this room. Okay, now you learned some facts about the White House. You learned about a couple of rooms. If you were president of the United States, what would be your favorite room of the White House? Think about it, because it's going to be your job to tell us. All right, guys, I hope you learned a lot. Bye.